Well, hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Eek Acres. It is currently raining out right now and it is cold. Feels like it could snow tonight. I wanted to talk about something as an example in this video. We got a neighbor that lives way back up in the woods. He's got a real long driveway and goes way back up in there. That property used to be part of this property, but the previous owner that owned all of this on this dead end parceled off the properties and sold them off in chunks individually. This was the last one to sell. And that property up there, if I remember right, is about 30 acres of land. It was purchased by an Amish guy. And I haven't seen any kids or a wife or anything, so I don't know if it's a single Amish man, but it was bought by an Amish man. And as soon as he purchased it, which is his right, don't get me wrong, he has a right to do whatever the hell he wants with his property, but as soon as he purchased it, he logged every single freaking tree on his property, starting at the back and working all the way up this way, right up to Bridget's property. The other day when we were working on the garden, her and I listened to great big giant maples and oaks pop and crack and fall to the ground with a loud thud as they hit the ground because they were sawing them down right up here just beyond our woods. And it really made me think. When I looked into how much money a person can make off of logging just a single acre of property, 1 acre of standing hardwood trees, I was astounded at what you actually make off of that. The price is so small that to me, it's not even worth doing at all. But the thing is that people today will do anything for money. Absolutely anything for money. And the thing that's astounding to me is that little bit of money that you get per acre, and let's say he logs all 30 acres, which appears like he did, that money in today's economy is going to go so fast, it'll probably be gone by the time fall hits. Yet, the trees that were cut down took decades and decades and decades to grow. If he were to plant trees up on his property to replace the ones he cut, he could not live long enough to see those trees reach the maturity that the ones he cut down did. And it also devalues the property because now there's a house just sitting out in the baking sun surrounded by hundreds of tree stumps. No regard for anything that utilizes the habitat, no regard for if any of those trees housed a family of squirrels or woodpeckers or anything else. Just cut them all down, have a truck haul them away, and pay me. So I wanted to use what this neighbor did as an example of how destructive greed is. It's very destructive. And a person that lives a life based on greed will be destroyed themselves. I firmly believe that where things are going in the world today are going to come to a head. I really do. I think it's going to lead to something awful because we can't keep going at this rate that we are and anything positive come of it. I just don't see how that could happen unless God were to intervene. But I believe that's the reason why Jesus has to come back one day, is because man screws this world up so bad that it takes divine intervention. I believe that. But the reason why I don't worry about it so much is because I know there's a higher power. Because I know that we all one day are going to a better place where man has no say, no pull, cannot pollute that world, cannot destroy that world, and cannot steal from anybody, rob anybody, be greedy, any of those things. Even as poor as I am, I could be the most broke person on planet Earth. And I could own thousands of acres of woods. High valuable trees, cherry trees, black walnut, etc. I wouldn't cut down not one tree for $1, for any amount of money. Because I see more value in nature, in God's creation, and the beauty that it provides that will last my entire life and beyond, has more worth to me than anything that could put in my wallet by cutting it all down. I just couldn't imagine doing such a destructive thing, but to each their own. I just couldn't imagine doing that. I like to improve a property, make it as nice as possible, and take care of it because I believe wholeheartedly that we are stewards of not only God's creation, but all his animals that is also his creation. And we are to take care of what God created and look after it and respect it. That's the number one thing, to respect it. But all this greed is gonna come to a head one day. And all these people that thought that the plan in the beginning was a good idea, for instance, with credit, I don't know if anybody ever gave it any thought that someone is going to take that system and run with it, which is what's happened. And they just thought that it was going to be an easy way out to get something that you can't afford. Get it today and worry about paying for it tomorrow. I can't even imagine living that way. Can't even imagine that. I have a hard time sleeping with pain as it is. I wouldn't want to have something heavy on my mind that I owe thousands of dollars for something. I'd never sleep again. They don't look at the agenda at first because everything seems innocent at first, but you got to look at the angle that they're doing it in the first place. And now look at where it's got us all these years later with the way things are today. And then you wonder why all of us can't afford anything? Humans are followers by nature. It's the whole reason why we have social media and they got the little follow button. They know that if a few people fall for something, millions of people will fall for it, maybe even billions, and people partake in it. You know, people don't like to boycott because it's hard or they don't know how to go about it, but it's more simple than you could think. And the only way to bring change is to cut off the head of the beast. Don't feed it. Don't partake in it. Even if it means you go without. The problem is, the average person out there today refuses to be uncomfortable. They refuse to go without. People are way too comfortable in the world today. People are so used to convenience and everything being now, immediate. This is why they won't boycott anything. This is why they won't stand for anything. This is why they won't fight for anything. They don't want to disrupt anything. They don't want to create a ripple, even though it's for a greater cause, and that it could actually get things more leaning to our side versus their side. But because they have no willpower to try or to do anything that they can, because it's the small things that make a difference as well. If you go out for a coffee every morning, just by stopping doing that, if enough people just stopped buying a coffee at Starbucks or Tim Hortons in the morning, can you imagine the effect that would have on those companies? Now imagine the things you could do to all the other companies that are charging ridiculous prices. But nobody wants to take the initiative. Nobody wants to do something different, like brewing coffee at home, getting up 10 minutes early, brew a pot, and take your damn coffee with you. But people don't like it because it's uncomfortable. It's more convenient to go through a drive-through. And if we don't make changes, which I believe people just will never do it, never. So I'm wasting my time even making this video. But if people did that on a large scale, we would see a lot of things change in this country and worldwide if other people followed. But right now, what's popular is for everybody to do nothing, unfortunately. That's the popular way to go. Pay it and do nothing. And if people think they're going to vote their way out of this, they have no clue who's truly pulling the strings. And the person running this country right now is ex-President Obama. He even said his dream in the future, after he was no longer president, he said would be able to run this country from his basement and have a puppet in place doing his deeds and having all the masses believe that's who's truly the president. That's exactly what's happening right now. President Obama is running this country, and you wonder why shit's so bad? Do you remember what his presidency was like? I never seen things worse. And this is why it feels so much like when he was in office. Because technically, he still is. He's just doing it from a basement. Thanks for watching, you guys, and we'll see you again in another one. Bye-bye.